Hello, and good day. Right, we're going to do a little spot of honing now. I've got my little comma, new to me. I've put one razor through it so I know it's okay. Level 5 Jnat. And what we got here, lads? Well, firstly, we've got the most prettiest coffin box I have ever owned. It's beautiful. I'm a leather worker and I cannot figure out how the hell they have joined this leather without me being able to find the join. It's amazing. Like, I think there might be something going on down that side, but it's so hard to tell. It is truly, well, I know it's only a coffin box, but she's a pretty one, man. What we got in here then? Well, I've got a sticker. It says Davis Cutler, 69 Leadenhall Street, London. And then we've got Mason Francis, Emily Lamady, hairdresser, perfumer, Walcoma Street, Dover. We've got some stubbies in here, and we got one that's ready to put on the Jnat. I'll show you that one in a minute. This one first is a Kingsbury. See, if you don't know what a Kingsbury is, because I didn't know what a Kingsbury is, but Kingsbury razor, I've not done nothing to this razor either. I've done a little bit of polishing on it. Kingsbury razor. So there's a dude in 1780 roughly to 1820, 1830. He made razors, and he did a treatise on razors, and that's how I found him. Benjamin Kingsbury. And he had a brother, another Kingsbury. But anyway, it's a really old razor. Got a bit of different grinding going on. I really recommend that you go and find his treatise on razors. You can find it on archive.com and whatnot, and it's just a good old read, man. It's like they knew some of the, all the things we know now, all the pitfalls and just everything. I've got another one of these. It's got a split on the old non-pivot end, so I've got to do some micro peening for that, just to fix it up. Just a lovely razor, lovely old stubby razor, but of the era when they really started to make them more fancy. Really pretty, man. So what we got here? Well, we've got probably the most prettiest stubby I've actually found. This is my keeper. I've not had much love for stubbies, I'll be frank. They're not kind of my thing in a way, but I come across this one and I was a bit like, oh dear, look at that. Look at that, she's a pretty one. So I thought to myself, well, I've got to have one, haven't I? And I tell you, it's going to take something to oust this one. It really is. It's just a really lovely old razor. You know, it's not been actually used that much, I don't think, and it just amazes me. It's called a H. Williams. I know nothing about. It's got some engraving there that I believe is a TG, possibly. That's what it looks like to me. On the back side, it says London made. There's a few bit of water damage in there, but it's not really pitting or anything. And I've not polished this to death or anything, so it is what it is. It's going to stay with me, I reckon, because I'd have to get one that beats that. And I think the only thing that could kind of beat that is something that was bigger. That would be what tempt me. But, you know, they like rocking all shit, aren't they? I think, excuse my language. Really rare. It's just a beautiful thing. And to say this has had work put on it, I'm talking, I reckon, near 10 hours. 10 hours of work has gone into this. So it had like the dreaded micro pits of black doom, like along the edge a little bit in places. I thought it was going okay, and then I'd hit more of them bloody dots, and then, well, effectively the apex of the razor was getting quite a bit of breakout. Like, it had what I'd call a weak apex, a weak edge. So yeah, I had to keep grinding basically. So it's been on my stones now for a long time. Like I said, it's definitely got about 10 hours in it. You know, you put that in terms of money, it turns out to be a lot, doesn't it? But hey, it's not about that, not for something like this. I must say though, I've got some other stubbies and I did plan on honing them, but I'm not planning on keeping them, so I think I'm just going to sell them. Because they really are a labour of love. You've really got to want to put the work into them. And as much as there's a couple of them I'd really like to, I ain't got the time. Really ain't got the time. She's beautiful though, isn't she? Look, I just love the way the scales just kind of like mould into one, especially when it's straight like that. It feels absolutely lovely in my hand. Like that, it really is. It's just lovely. You know what I mean? Whoever made it really knew how to make razors. The only thing that's a bit like is that pinning. I'm not sure whether it's had to be repinned at some point. And I might try and fix that, but it's trying to fix it without damaging the scales, because look how thin the actual scales are. Really, really thin. Right. Lovely. Right, I'm excited to get this shade ready, I must say. Right, I'll tell you a story about this bloody razor. This is how much of a bit of a bugger it's been. Right, so remember, I'm going like that a little bit with this comb. You know, it's a new to me stone, so it still has got quite a flat bottom, but it's not got a perfectly flat, because that wouldn't even do that if it did. I'm already moulding it, we'll put it that way. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I got this ready, or at least I thought I did, up to 12,000, and you know, I think I was just a bit too optimistic, which is something that I've actually sort of tried to temper really hard recently, but because I don't know, I'm emotionally attached to it. It's took me that long. I've had it in my hand for that many hours now. It feels a part of me. I thought I was going to get away with what I was going to do, meaning put it on the finishers and that whatnot. But once I had a proper look at it, well, effectively I had tiny little nibbles still in the very apex, and I had to keep going past them. Which again, it took me another couple of hours. It really is. It's like when they say about soft metal, like Sheffield soft metal, that is not soft. Not soft at all, man. The only parts of it that were soft is like them little black death dots, I call them. That literally have got like charcoal within them. Right, let's have a look at this edge though. I forgot to show you that. Probably a bit more than what I normally would, a slurry, but it's new to me, you see, so I'm used to my Maduro, and I think my Maduro is a little bit harder than that. Right, let's have a little look under the microscope. Make sure I'm not touching anything. God almighty, I don't want to chip the edge now. Let's get the old name in it, just so I know for my own sanity when I look back at it, I know what it is. Get the old London, just because it's nice London made. Right, let's try and get a good photo. Let's have a look. Right, there we go, we found it. So as you can see, it's got a lovely wide bevel. I'd say it's still not perfect, but it's what we've got at the moment, and it's popping hairs. I'll show you that in a minute. Especially towards this toe, look, it gets a tiny bit bitty again. Tiny bit, sort of serrations are showing a little bit. That was, you know, it's been my problem area, full stop. It really has. It really has been a long old job, let's put it that way. There's a bit of a chip there, but it's a tiny little chip. So you never know, I might get this done, you know, what I'm going to do today. I'll shave with it, and it's still, look, that's representative of the dots I was dealing with. Dots of black death. The black holes of razor corrosion. Really bad. Oh, I did have bloody hair ready. See, I can't find another one. Got to try and find a brush that only my missus Only my wife shaves with. She don't shave, she waxes. So it's popping air as any wedge would do, even on the bitty end at the toe. So it's popping airs. It's lacking a little bit on the heel more than anything, but on there you go, from there it's popping air proper. But that last little bit, but the thing is, I think sometimes with stubbies, you've really got to let go of this area down here. That's what I'm really finding. Like, don't get, oh, it popped it then. There you go. Yeah, it's popping it there. There you go. But sometimes, yeah, you have to just get rid of that a little bit, because otherwise, it is what it is. You're dealing with so little amount of bloody metal in a way. But hey, it's been fun. It's been a good learning experience. Right, let's give it a whirl on this old coma slurry. See, what I did notice because I've already done one razor now using this slurry stone, Dovo, that a chap sent to me to hone, and he was very happy with it. I found it took a little bit more stropping maybe to get how I expect it to HHT, but then I did only take that to 8,000 because I wanted to try. Actually, I can't remember if I did now. Hopefully I'll put that in a message to him. That's normally what I do, so I can remember back to that. But yeah, it definitely took a little bit more stropping than my Magiro, but first time using it, so. Keep plenty of water, that's what I say at this stage, especially when you've got a new stone. Keep it more on the sort of wet side. I don't know if you can tell, but it does look to me that the slurry stone colour is darkened a little bit. Which normally indicates that it is cutting away a little bit. Yeah, getting this last 10mm as well anywhere near shave ready has just been a ball ache, because I just didn't want to keep lifting the razor, because like, I know I can get it by lifting the razor up, but again, like I've said many a time, you keep doing that too much and you end up just chasing the actual curve around even more and even more, and it's one of my little bugbears that I don't like doing, you know. But each to their own as well, you know. Use your own razor, do whatever you want with it. But it's just something that I don't like doing. So because I don't like doing that, it costs me time sometimes. And because it's my sort of stubby that I'm planning on keeping, I want to do the very, very, very best that I possibly can by it. You know, to kind of keep it for future generations as well as near original as we can, and you know, like look after it in that respect as well, because it does trip my mind, man. Like it's like 200-year-old tool. Whatever way you look at it, it's definitely sort of near 200-year-old. And to think like a lump of metal made from, you know, carbon steel as well has survived all that time. I have actually got the little coffin box for this as well. I should have dug that out. I think I know where it is, but it's really battered and got like a little hole in the bottom and everything. Yeah, it's really nearly unusable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some research into how to make these coffin boxes. Because like I said, I like my leather craft and everything, and since this one's come in, I've had ones clad in like leather before, but this one's really made me just think, wow man, look at that. You know, it's a full-on skill in itself. It really is. Level of craftsmanship. It's got a lovely sweepy edge on it now. It's been nice to hone, it's just been a long old job. when I first put this on the stones, this whole area here was like a million miles away, and I was just like, oh damn man. But the spine's quite straight, you see, so it don't, you know, the edge is, well, to me it's quite accurate to the spine, so it was almost just like I had to recorrect the edge a little bit, and I could have ground it on the DMT plates and that. I probably could have removed a little bit of metal in like well, some other places, and it probably would have sped it up a little bit. But I wanted to be really kind of organic with it. Like, let's see where it takes us by doing the laps. So I did. It really languished on the low grits for a while, and then one night last week I was like, right, let's get this bloody set. But even after I got it, thought I had it set, once I got it to the higher grits, I think I got it up to 8,000, and then I started seeing all these little microchips appearing again. Like I mentioned before, sometimes it's not till you get to the higher grits that you really start seeing the actual apex is a bit bitty. And that was the case. This also created a bit of a wire edge on the toe. Like all of a sudden I was a bit like, oh man, look at that. So then I had to get rid of that, which was relatively easy actually. I weren't that many laps. But I'm not 100% sure that this ain't got a bit of a fragile edge still. If it has, it'd be a bit gutting, because it means I'm definitely going to have to take it down to a 2,000. But we'll see. I am hopeful for it this time. Got to say, the old stone looks nice when the sun hits it like that. Diluted that down a lot now, haven't we? Have a look at the edge in a minute and see if we need to go again with a bit more slurry. Like I say, it's a bit sort of, excuse me, sort of experimental stage with my home, like stones, because as soon as you introduce a new slurry stone, you've got to sort of reset your mind a little bit and go again. All of your kind of norms and your like little checkpoints, I guess, well, I could say that's how it works in my head. They kind of move a little bit, so you have to let go of some of your expectations, your assumptions even, and then learn again. That is the fun of it. Right. Set with my slurry stones now. I might just try and, I think there's one in between my Botan and my Tenju that I can get, or at least in terms of the traditional. And I wouldn't mind getting a bit of a bigger Botan, somewhere near the size of my other clonkers, as I call them. I was watching a video of some Japanese dude the other day, it was sort of a bit of a vintage video actually. And he had a clonker, man. It was like a hand sight. It's like nearly bigger than his base stone. It was brilliant. Right, well, we're sort of nearly slurryless there, aren't we, really? Sort of dissipated into nearly nothing. let's have a little look at that, I think, before I go any further, because if I go any further I'll start taking off the comber edge a little bit. It felt nice. Since I conditioned it the other day, the stone, it's gone really like a bit more sort of slick, it's gone nice. Ooh, hang on, what are we doing? There we go, right. So yes, got a bit of a frosty edge in it. A few serrations I think it's added. Excuse me, I think I've already said I've had a bit of a cold. Look at that though, yeah, it's really started hitting there. Yeah, I forget to say, yeah, like on the heel it was just generally lacking a little bit of sort of touching it, if you get what I mean anyway. That's why it didn't show up straight away. And then again a bit on the toe. See how it's kept some of its shininess, isn't it? But I'm gonna go another round anyway, I think, because look at the edge, it's definitely not like this magnification, it don't look like it's damaging it, does it? So yeah, see how it's still quite shiny down there, isn't it? It has sort of started serrating the very edge though a bit, you can see it. There you go, look at that. Shows it up even more that side. That's really sort of like mottled frosty. Cool. Yeah. Well, I think I can now. This is my second razor on that slurry stone. The surface that I'm using on it, you know, the surface that I've prepped. And again, if you watch my other video, it says how I prep the bottoms of these a little bit. It seems safe. So going forward, all I have to keep an eye out for now is if any inclusions that look a bit dodgy start appearing as we're going through, like, what do they call it? It's not stratosphere, is it? Stratosphere. Oh, forget, man. It might be. Or is it? Oh, whatever. We know what we mean. Layers in the stone. Stratosphere. I don't know, it might be, I don't know. Because, well, I know the stratosphere is a layer in the layers of the planet on Earth. The outer stratosphere, the inner stratosphere. I can remember that. It's all the way back at school, a long time ago, man. I have to keep an eye out for the dude I bought these from, because he only had these stones for sale. So I'm always a bit dubious when you're buying stones if they've only got like one, but then also I'm a bit the other side if they're just selling loads of stones. Like I've said before, it's a bloody minefield buying stones. It's like you are putting a lot of trust into people, ultimately just trying to sell you something. You don't know where they're coming from in terms of their integrity. You know, it's something myself I really pride myself on, do you know what I mean? It's like so important in any form of business. You know, business kind of transactions or anything, you know, you've got to build trust and, you know, you've got to be honest. It's really gone like glass since I flattened this stone, I must say. When it weren't out, you couldn't see any, you know, you couldn't get a piece of paper underneath straight edge on none of it. So you can watch the old slurry move along the razor. The only thing that I can see that is still lacking a little bit is that last little 5mm bit, but that never bothered me. I always work around those things. Like I said, I could quite easily hit it if I chose to, but it's not something I personally actually need on a razor. I don't need that very last bit. razor sharp. When it gets less slurry, I can notice the heel is still slightly lacking in places, but again, it's that first little bit, and I think you have to have just a little bit of leeway with these stubbies. It's like one of them stubbies I've got just, well, to the right of me as I'm looking now. Like the heel is just not hitting. Like there's this little gap, and you'd have to remove so much bloody metal just to hit that little tiny bit of the heel. Whereas, like, you know, from there onwards, it looks like it's going to go great. It's just this bit down here, like nearly as thick as my finger in a way. And I just figure, like, just ignore it. Like, it's such an old razor. I feel like you actually want to shave with it. You don't want to be moving all that metal out of the way just to get that little tiny bit. Again, each to their own. Like, you know, if it was your razor, you do what you want with it. But you've got to try and preserve the whole, I think. I wonder if we've started kind of hitting it a bit more. Put a tiny bit of pressure on my finger on the toe. Let's see if we can't just change its mind a little bit. I really am putting minimal pressure on there though. I'm not, because like I said before, I don't like this finger's doing nothing other than really just stabilising it to make sure, to doubly make sure I'm not twisting and yawing. Like, you don't really do that with a wedge type razor anyway, but it's just one of my little safety things that I've kind of nearly always done. I can do it one-handed. I've actually been practicing with my left hand, and I'm up to 8,000 grit now with just my left hand. I'm quite quick. I'm not making any mistakes. I can't do my V's as short and as quick with my left hand yet. But I wouldn't put it on the 12,000 yet, and I wouldn't put it on my finisher yet. But I like exploring that side of my life. It's meant to help my brain. That bloody needs it. Right, we're getting rid of that slurry now. Slurry's definitely changed colour as well. It's got a bit more like greyness to it, a bit greeny grey. let's have a look under the scope. Let's see if we've got a little bit more. I'm not too fussed if it ain't really. What have I done? No, that ain't done. You gonna go? No. Yes. Press another button and it worked. Go figure. Get the old sign in it again just so I know. Alright, well. Yeah. That's definitely a little bit more frosty, I think. It's definitely kind of hit the bottom. Yeah. Really has there, isn't it? How's it looking towards the toe? Toe's a little bit more shiny. But it's been my whole problem child, the whole honing process. So it's a little bit shinier down on that side on the heel. Let's find a bit more focus, there we go. But that really is something else. That's definitely frosting up a lot more than my Magiro, and I can't say whether it's a good thing or a bad thing really, but it's definitely doing something. Right. That's really weird how I was doing it the opposite way now. Oh, sort it out. Right, so let's just wash that off. Let's put it over there. Let's wash off this base stone. Dry the old hands. And go again. It's like honing on glass. Really notice it with this razor as well, I must say. It's got to be like a big wide bevel, but definitely just Let's see if we can notice any difference. I'm kind of not really expecting too much difference really, but we will have a look. It should have gotten a little bit shinier. Then I'm only really judging off of... There you go, it's working again now. It's definitely hitting it down there on the heel more, isn't it? This side, so this is the non-face side. It's definitely lacking on the toe a little bit, but we're going to kind of ignore that because it is what it is. It's been the part that's been really hard to just set, full stop. Yeah. Right, I'm going to go and shop it now. Do you want to come see? Yeah, I'll stop you.